All right, ladies and gentlemen, the verdict is in the Delphi case, right? Carlton says on the verdict is in. Great Creed song. So let's listen in a little bit. I'm watching a couple channels. I'm watching the Prob. I'm watching this Criminalities channel. And I will post whatever channel I'm watching. I'll post in their chat for people to check out. Hold on, let me see if I can do it right now. All right, this is the first channel we are watching, and that would be There is Miss Criminality's channel I just posted. Now I'm gonna turn on the volume here, see if we can listen in a little bit.
Yeah, it's 14. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this down. We're just gonna read through the charges. So if you guys have any questions on the charges, that way we have Travis here and he can answer them if needed. So this is the final jury instruction from Judge Gold. You guys can see it. This is hers. And so it just goes through the instructions. So we're going to go through the counts. So this is a criminal case brought by the state of Indiana against Richard M. Allen. The case was commenced with informations were filed charging the defendant with count 1, felony murder, a felony, count 2, felony murder, a felony, count 3, murder, a felony, and count 4, murder, a felony. Those informations omitting formal parts read as follows. So count 1, on or about February 13th, 2017, in the county of Carroll, the state of Indiana, Richard M. Allen did kill another human being, to wit, Abigail Williams, while committing or attempting to commit kidnapping, being contrary to the form of the statute in such case made and provided. Count 2, same thing, except for Liberty German. Count 3, on or about February 13th, 2017, in the county of Carroll, state of Indiana, Richard M. Allen did knowingly or intentionally kill another human being, to wit, Abigail Williams, being contrary to the form of the statute in such case made and provided. Count 4 is the exact same, but for Liberty German. So we'll go through the actual instruction of each one. This is for count 1. The crime of murder is defined by law as follows: a person who kills another human being while committing or attempting to commit kidnapping commits felony murder, a felony. Before you may convict the defendant, the state must have proved each of the following beyond a reasonable doubt. 1. The defendant, Richard M. Allen, killed Abigail Williams while committing or attempting to commit kidnapping, which is defined as a person who knowingly or intentionally removes another person by force or threat of force from one place to another.
Well, they got him on that.
If the state failed to prove each of these elements beyond a reasonable doubt, you must find the defendant not guilty. If the state did prove each of these elements beyond a reasonable doubt, you may find the defendant guilty of count 1, felony murder, a felony. Second count reads exactly the same way.
Now, see, I've been in these chats, watching. A lot of people are saying it's Veterans Day. Richard Allen is a vet. Let him go. Let Richard Allen go. He's a vet. I'm sorry, folks. If we let every ex-veteran, every ex-police officer or government worker that broke laws loose, if we let all these people loose, our country would be a cesspool of evil. I cannot help. My heart bleeds for him. He's a veteran, but he should have known. If he's a veteran, he should have known not to do something like this. So a lot of people in these other chats are saying, let Richard Allen go. He's a veteran. I can't do that. I'm sorry. If Richard Allen is guilty, he's guilty. Thank you for serving for our country. But if we let every madman go that served in this country, this is why this country is in the situation it's in. I'm sorry. I can't help these people.
And knowingly or intentionally kill Abby? Did Richard Allen knowing or intentionally kill Libby? Did Richard Allen kill Libby while committing or attempting to commit kidnapping? Did the defendant Richard Allen kill Abigail Williams while committing or attempting to commit kidnapping?
I'm going to be honest with you. He's guilty. There ain't nothing they can do to get him off of it. He said too much. He placed himself there, and they have evidence. There ain't too much you can do about it. But I know this much. We cannot let Richard Allen go if he's found guilty because he is a veteran. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It don't work that way. It don't. It don't. Now, what do I think? Everyone's going crazy. Oh my God, the scanners are going crazy. They want police surrounding the courthouse. Excuse me. Do these people not know of anything of crime cases or court dates? The reason the police are being called in to surround the building is because there's been death threats to Richard Allen from some of these YouTubers that were there. They were going to kill him if he was guilty or not. The judge and everybody's scared. This is protocol to bring in extra police just in case somebody goes. It's nothing else. He's not guilty. They're bringing in police. That's what these people have been saying. He's not guilty because they're bringing in a bunch of police. You don't know that. You don't know that. They're bringing in police and other things because they don't want anyone to end up dead or people to go crazy. We've had numerous YouTubers threatening to take out Richard Allen if he's guilty or not, and very bad things said about Judge Gall. And she's probably frightened to death by you idiots. And I'll tell you what am I looking at? I'm looking at a courtyard gathering and not one barbecue pit going. These people know nothing of how to have a courtyard barbecue. Let's get back to this.
And Julie Melvin is in.
Not one barbecue pit out there. Sad. Not one food truck. You're lucky I don't own a restaurant out there. I would have had my food truck out there. Well, we're watching Miss Criminality.
Running through the model instructions right now, so you see a question.
I posted her channel in my chat.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not in the chat, so we are waiting to hear.
Let's shrink this down so I can see the chat and see what they're saying. See what they're saying. Oh my God. This is just horrible. Richard Allen will be found guilty, not guilty. There's a poll
So I just put
going.
in on the
Guilty on some
the banner,
charges,
it'll be
not
read at
all.
3 p.m. Eastern.
They'll probably get him on some charge. What the heck was that? Oh, I can't. I'm not logged in. I'm not logged
There's
into
a big
this
secret
one.
being hidden from the drivers. So listen up before this video gets released.
Crash.
If you're being insured by any of these companies,
I know that people are going to feel
I can't
that
vote.
it's not true.
Oh, I
justice
gotta go over
if
here
you're
on my
one
other
side or the other,
computer.
and that's just going to be it's going to
And
be
I'll
it's
vote.
going to be hard. It's
There
going to
she
be hard
is.
on
I'm gonna
social
vote.
media. Avery, thank you. If they find him guilty, I'll be on tequila quickly. I can't even smell tequila.
This case ain't
Jojo
over.
says, if guilty, I wonder if defense can compel them to get the short hairs tested.
Yeah, you got 72 hairs that haven't been tested. How can this case ever be over when you don't even have all the evidence of who was there at the crime scene? Right? 72. Yo, Debbie. Yo, Debbie. We're watching, Deb. I posted Miss Criminality's channel in there. I am also watching the Prod channel. And a couple more. Debbie, I was supposed to do some work today for that older couple, and I called them, and I'm like, today's, I think, Veterans Day. And she's like, what? I'm like, it's a holiday today. It's Veterans Day. And she's like, oh, yeah. She's like, come over tomorrow. It's windy out anyways. The leaves are falling. So I'll probably have some work to do tomorrow. Make me a couple dollars. Yeah, it's just, I got some leaves to pick up around there. I guess I did such a good job on hanging lights for her. She wants me to hang more lights around the shed now. So I'll make a couple bucks over there. Guilty or no, he's probably going to be guilty. He's probably going to be found guilty. And I'm gonna shock everybody right now. Even though Richard Allen is found guilty, this case will still go on. And people are shocked. They want it to be over, but we can't let it be over. Why? Because it's a ring. It's a bunch of them. So I think they'll get him on most of the stuff. If not, if he's found innocent, the case will still go on. Either way, people, this case is not over today. I know a lot of people we all want it to. It's wrecked our lives. If not for the trolls attacking us and people from this group of people down there, even YouTubers, this case will not be over with. Where? You think so, love? Well, yes, love. I think that they're probably going to get them on something. If not all of it, they're going to get them on something. They have something on them, folks. You don't sit in prison and they got nothing. They have something. Whether it be him communicating with underage girls and asking for nude photos. If he was there, but he wasn't part of it or whatever, he's seen him. We don't know. You know, he was there. They got him on something. They just can't lock you up and not have anything. They had to have probable cause to make an arrest, right? And if they didn't do that and they just arrested him, well, this is why Indiana is under the scalpel and being dissected. And let me tell you why people want them to be innocent. Let me tell you why they're praying, some of these people. Because it's possible they knew Richard Allen. It's possible they all knew each other. There's only one bar in town. I imagine they all knew each other somewhere down the road. They might not have been best friends, but they knew each other. Miss Shelley New Brunswick is here. Hello, Miss Shelley. Come on in. We're listening. Let's listen to a little bit more. Miss Criminality.
The recordings.
Debbie, can you hear her voice?
You know, there is a vast amount of information that we would be entitled to at some point. I think a lot of that's going to be freed up one way or the other, no matter what the verdict is. With the exception of some of the crime scene photos and autopsy photos, but you know, there would be a process. Anything that they want sealed, there would be a process that could be contested as to it's inappropriate to seal that particular document or redact information. But no, there's a ton of information. Sleuthy, I know you have a lot more to say about that. You were directly involved in getting a lot of information.
Make a newspaper scan real quick. This is behind.
There had been a verdict in the case right
Oh,
now.
thank you, Miss Shelley.
But we haven't seen the suspect in this case, Richard Allen, yet, have we?
He's en route. Just hold your horses down there, people.
30 minutes. We think that he probably would have
As loud as I can get it.
this, but just imagine what that's like for him to be coming here and to know that there could be a decision.
Just get out of our way. He's en route to Delphi right now. He's being transported.
Closely watching this case. Now, this is the day before delivering. Well, I mean, don't they camped out in front of the courthouse. Now, this is a little extra extraordinary because people know we're spread that verdict has come in. So, yeah,
I know even when they say it's in court, we won't right away. No. It'll be a couple hours before we find out, probably. Hour. And here's the thing. We don't know if we could trust anybody. So watch people you know you could trust, because they might come out and say, oh, he was innocent. And everyone else is saying he's guilty. Almost pulled my drink off of the table, my soda. All right, let me open up another tab here, and we might be able to get some other people here that are covering it. Delphi Defense Diaries. That's Obamata. ABC Channel 7 News. Chicago, baby, is on it. Chicago. Don't ever say we don't know.
What's that? Oh my God.
Chicago News is on it, Jack. ABC Channel 7. You want anything done, you got to call in the professionals. We're on it. I'm going to give a shout out in chat. Oh, dang it, I can't. I'm on a different computer. Richard Allen is guilty. That's what a lot of these people in this Channel 7 Chicago is saying. What do you hear in the background, folks? What do you hear? That train is a-rolling. You hear that train in the background.
And now finally, this is the day. This is the day where we will know what the jury has decided. Let's talk a little bit about that jury. They're from Allen County. There were 16 people who were...
There's a cop looking right into the
Hold on.
right
So
through the
T-Dub said
window.
the jury vans are leaving.
The jury vans are leaving.
Was the jury in the vans? Because, I mean, are the vans just leaving?
I don't know.
T-Dub is out there. So anybody who wants to know the sources, T-Dub is out there watching. She's out on. She's one of the people on the sidewalk. So why would the jury vans be leaving? Is it just the vans?
Well, if they're empty,
Yeah.
there's no big deal about that. But if they're full of jurors, there's something that's not right.
But why would they leave when they're going to have to take the jurors back to the hotel to get all their stuff?
Because
Or they
you
already take your stuff,
YouTubers
maybe.
lie
Yeah,
like
maybe-
rugs.
So maybe they're like, oh, we want to save another day. We're going to take you back so you can get your stuff.
Boy, if they're saying the vans, the jury vans left. If they're full, you ain't got no verdict. There's no reason why because they lie. Right? Is it possible they lied? There is no verdict. It's possible if they're saying the jury vans have left. If they're full of jurors, then either they already read the verdict and we're waiting to hear what it is, or there ain't going to be no verdict today. And one of these YouTubers made up that the verdict was in. Right? That's very possible. Hung jury, might be hung jury. Either way, Delphi case still goes on. Right? Delphi case still goes on. But Channel 7 from Chicago is out there. It is a very windy day. The wind is blowing here like crazy, so I can hear the wind blowing and through the microphone. We got one cop standing right in the front door. You can see him. Debbie, can you see him? He's looking out. He's looking out through the door. I am really kind of shocked that this is even going on today, being it's Veterans Day holiday. I think the banks are shut down too today, ain't they, Deb? So this is very mysterious. We just heard the other channel, Miss Criminality, saying someone on her panel was saying that this ain't adding up. You know, if the jury vans left, are they empty? And they just dropped the jury off and they're going to read the verdict? Or was the verdict, or were the jury vans full of people and they already read the verdict and we're waiting for someone to come out and give us the information? Now I'm looking at local news channels here. There's nothing on the news about a verdict. There's no one covering it. Channel 22, Channel 57, Channel 16 is not covering it. So something is not adding up. I'm going to turn the TV on just to check. This is a big case in Indiana. If there was a verdict and they were getting ready, it should be on my news. I'm going to turn the news on and find out. I'm turning my TV on right now. Just hold on.
Come out. There is no truth to this.
Okay, that's CNN. They ain't covering it there. Well, let me move on to local channels.
Gorillas ahead. PayPal.
It's not on Channel 16.
God, you can feel the excitement going. Dream with the drums.
It's not on 22. And it ain't on 23 channel. Let me see. One other channel. Yeah, they ain't even covering it, folks. It's not even on our local channels there. So, I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for a verdict and it'll be in. And it'll be on the news at 4 o'clock. In Indiana, we have 4 o'clock news. It starts at 4. And the news don't end until 6:30. So they might be waiting to put it on the 4 o'clock news if the verdict is in before then. If not, and the verdict comes in, Indiana news channels broadcast from 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock or 6:30. So they might wait and have it on there. But right now I am watching my hometown, ABC Channel 7 Chicago is covering it. They're out there. And we'll see what's happening, right? But as of now, the Delphi case or the verdict is not on any channel in Indiana. So figure that one out. Yes, Debbie, banks are closed and so is the post office. So I'm kind of shocked that this is even going on today. But they say it is. So now, do you see people in these other channels saying, let Richard Allen go? He's a veteran. Right? Why is this case? Why is the verdict in on Veterans Day? And now they're saying he's a veteran, let him go. Folks, if we let every veteran go that slaughtered or killed kids or snapped, this is why America is in the predicament it's in. I love our veterans, but the veterans that go ahead and take the uniform off and they abide by the laws in America and don't take over a country, right? I love them veterans, but these veterans that made mistakes and did bad things, I'm sorry, I can't let him go. Well, he served in the country. Well, we thank you, but we cannot let him go. All right, doors are opening. There's Bob Mata himself, aka The Edge. Let me get over and see what he's doing. This is unbelievable. Yo, Bobby. Let me see what's up. Let's get back over to Miss
Will go
Criminalities.
get gas. They probably have lunch, but they probably will get gas so that once they get the jury back in the van, they don't have to stop with
Correct.
the jury after a verdict.
Okay, so can we,
Oh,
Right here.
there's
Right
Mata.
here. Right
Yo,
there.
Bobby, yo.
So we didn't
so
get it?
he's gonna go get Kathy?
I don't know. They said that Richard Allen just got there, so
Richard Allen is there at
You
the
said that was
courthouse,
Bob,
folks.
right?
that was Bob that was just walking. Yeah.
He said about 10 minutes before they started lining up the,
If that was Bob walking, then they didn't. Then either the verdict has already been read, or they didn't let the public in yet.
What's this?
people are walking out of there fast.
They let him in.
What is it?
Oh, is it
Not
not guilty? They're screaming.
But there's people there that want guilty, Spoopy.
No, they're screaming guilty.
You need to find Bob or coverage.
Let's check these other channels real
I'm
quick.
going to Twitter in case I disappear. That's why.
Okay.
It says, and your own experience.
I'm gonna go.
Guilty, though, I think.
He's found guilty.
He was found guilty.
He's found guilty. Guilty, Debbie. Okay, now we dissect Richard Allen and his friends. Now, there's some of the family members. Yeah, he's guilty. All right, like I said, now this case is going to open up, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are going to open the case up. Now, we can't believe these people, what they're saying. We don't know if he's guilty or not, but a lot of people are screaming guilty. A lot of people were cheering, so everyone thinks that he might be innocent. Let's see what's going on. Let me see if I can find someone else. Oh, here they all come. Channel 7, they're coming out big time. Let's see if I can't find another channel real quick. Debbie, do you know anyone else that's live with the verdict? Oh, there's Miss Julie. There's Miss Burkhart. Oh, there's the infamous Lana. The infamous Lana. I do want to thank ABC's Channel 7 Chicago for coming in and covering it and getting the story straight. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Channel 7 is coming on out, and we're going to get ourselves a verdict right here, right now, right here. You can't see this anywhere else but on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to ABC Channel 7. All right, we're going to get a brief here real quick from our own Chicago Channel 7 before anyone gets anything. Come on, Channel 7, be the first one out. Bob Mata's looking for his sidekick to try and get on here. Lana and everybody, come on, give me something. Be waiting for everyone. Be the first new broadcasting people to get it out there. Let's see who they... Oh, look at Bob Mata's walking with the family. He's disgusted.
Likely, but
Oh, man. It's
you're gonna
ugly.
you've got enough to get a hearing, and I can't tell you what enough is. You probably got subpoena power for that.
You have, I mean, I want the courthouse behind us, so if we need to move down a corner, we can move down a corner.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, remain
This is Anna
calm.
Williams, Abby's mom, that they're hugging right here.
Remain
And
calm.
Carrie, Libby's mom. Tara German,
I don't care.
Libby's aunt.
I don't know.
Amanda German, Tara's wife.
I mean, the way they're acting, he was innocent. The way he's acting, it's almost like he was found innocent. The sign is fine, ABC. Go with it. Do I got to do everything in this country? Don't like the sign. I don't care about a sign. Just get the verdict out before everyone else. God, I got to do everything in this country. Let's get back over to criminalities.
Forgetting though that we're likely ending up.
Oh, look
doing
at the
another
people
trial, right?
in Miss Criminalities
We're probably gonna
chat.
have to do another trial. This again.
They are
I think we
pissed.
live to another trial, honey.
That's true. I can't believe that
Oh, there's Aspen.
this.
You all hear me?
Aspen.
There's
There's
Aspen.
Aspen.
Oh, poor
love
people. But most of you idiots were suspects. So go suck an egg. This case ain't over.
Well, I think the jury's gonna. I hope that there's no way that they're not gonna be curious once they're done and can access their devices. There's no way that they're not gonna be curious. And I think there's gonna be some really, really upset, furious, like I said yesterday or the day before, whatever day we talked last, that I would be absolutely just appalled once I found out things that were kept from me. But I truly don't understand.
No, there was tons kept from you people. Why? Because you idiots were out there giving away everything. That's probably why. Nah, it's no big deal. It's over with. Now let's get over to Channel 7 and see if they're set up. What's going on over there? Give me something. All right, let's roll with it, sweetie. You look gorgeous. Now let's do this. Come on.
Stand by.
We're ready, sweetie. You look beautiful. The hair blowing and everything. Everything is fine. Let's give it to them. The verdict is in. Channel 7, Chicago. The Windy City, baby. Sweetie, are you out there still? Oh, I didn't see Miss ATS News. Miss ATS News. We hope you're doing good. What's in the background? What's that noise? Ah, there's that old
Mark,
train.
after about 19 hours of deliberating for the jury,
19
they found
hours.
Richard Allen guilty.
Guilty.
Of all four charges.
All charges.
Abigail Williams and Liberty German. More than 7.5 years of waiting for the family of Abby and Libby. And I can tell you, when the verdict was read, everyone was crying. Both Richard Allen's family and Abby and Libby's family. Many members of Libby's family kind of saying yes when that first count of guilty verdict was read. Those four charges: count 1, felony murder, found guilty on all 4 counts. Count 1, felony murder for the death of Abigail Williams. Count 2, felony murder for the death of Liberty German. Count 3 for the killing of Abigail Williams. And count 4 for the killing of Liberty German. Something the family has been waiting for 7.5 years to hear. When
Guilty.
the verdict was read, the family, as I just mentioned, started crying, started hugging each other, and just as the family
Can
was
you hear
about
them
to
talking,
leave
Debbie?
after the jury read their verdict, it only took a couple
be read. Many of the family members were hugging investigators. Investigators were crying. The prosecution team was crying, but they also were smiling. These were obvious happy tears. It's a lot. It's a lot for this family to be dealing with for all this time, waiting 19 hours or so to hear that verdict. And after the verdict was read, the defense team actually asked for a roll call from every single one of the jury members to confirm that it was their belief that Richard Allen was to be found guilty on all 4 charges. The entire 12-person jury answered the judge saying, yes, that was their verdict. Now, when it was read, Richard Allen's family, they were seen crying. Richard Allen's wife could not get up. She sat in her chair. She couldn't get up. Richard Allen's mother also struggling.
Debbie, can you hear her talking?
Held up by family members and even from the defense team.
This ATS News, you turn it up.
As for Richard Allen himself, he was sitting down, showed no emotion when that verdict was read, motionless the entire time, as all 4 counts were read in this case.
All 4 counts guilty. I want to thank Chicago's.
For February 13th of 2017. And in that timeline, the prosecutor told the jury that Richard Allen put himself on the trail that day. They said that Richard Allen, when he was confessing more than 60 times, had information that only the killer would know. They said in those confessions, Richard Allen was detailing what happened in this crime. And there also was that bullet found at the crime scene. The jury ultimately siding with the prosecution. The expert witness for the prosecution saying that the bullet found at the crime scene between Abby and Libby's bodies had been cycled through Richard Allen's gun. The defense said it was an untrusted science, but of course, the jury deciding that it should be trusted, and I'm sure that's one of the pieces of evidence the jury considered. A number of phone call interviews, a number of video of Richard Allen inside of his cell, but the defense said he was mentally unwell. The jury deciding otherwise. Again, the family escorted out together, but all of the family just kind of holding each other today. And it's a bit of a celebration for those family members of Abby and Libby. And of course, very hard for Richard Allen's family to understand that Richard Allen is going to be sentenced and found guilty on all 4 charges. His sentencing is set for December, later in December.
Get out of the way, Frankenmeister. This is Chicago shit. Get out of my way.
Has been found guilty on all 4 counts in the murders of Abby
You ever
Williams.
walk in front of one of my Chicago camera news team? Great job, baby. ABC Chicago, great job getting the news out and the verdict out first. Great job. And you look gorgeous. You look gorgeous. Great job.
His demeanor, Mark, has kind of been the same throughout.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this Delphi case has just begun, folks. Richard, you best play ball, baby. You best play ball. You might be able to get your sentence lowered. Play ball. Who else? Where's your phone? And if you want to see the sun again or any kind of courtyard, you're going to play ball with us. And you're going to give them all up. This whole giant pedo ring and Klein and all these people. Where was Klein? Where was Shadwell? Where were all these guys behind bars? All right. And the case goes on. I know you folks want it to be over with. But there was just too much evidence. There was too much released that it was more than one people and there was a problem down there. And there was a problem there before Delphi. Murders of Abby and Libby, and it still remains to be a problem. Let's check this out.
Again, that were just in here this afternoon on this case.
Look at that
Allen
cold
is now
stare.
convicted of killing teenagers Abby Williams and Libby German near a hiking trail in
Substantial evidence or not, the jury thought that the prosecution had enough.
trial. The jury finding Richard Allen guilty on all counts. Again, that were just in here this afternoon on the.
Look at that face. That is the face of a psychotic madman. And now we dissect his life. We backtrack every vacation he took. We backtrack and we go through every single case that was unsolved in Indiana. We dissect Indiana, rip it open, like it was on an operating table, and we dissect every organization, every one of his friends. That whole town now is being dissected. Look at that face. Look at the eyes. Cold, dead stare. He's looking the same way he did in the night of the bar room footage. That is how Richard Allen looked for 30 minutes into a camera in 2019 in the bar. Just like that, directly into a camera. Cold, dark stare. If you notice, his pupils are dilated. His pupils are dilated. Let's continue.
This case, Allen is now convicted of killing teenagers Abby Williams and Libby German near a hiking trail in the small town of Delphi in 2017. Now, the jury started deliberating Thursday of last week, altogether about 4 days, roughly 20 hours of deliberations, and coming in this afternoon with.
There's the trail. Let's get this back, because in the footage of the girls, you can see a dot just coming onto the railroad track.
Trial, the jury finding Richard Allen guilty on all counts. Again, that word just in here this afternoon on this case. Allen is now convicted of killing teenagers Abby Williams and Libby German near a hiking trail in the small town of Delphi in 2017. Now, the jury started deliberating Thursday of last week, altogether.
Right there. This shot right here, let me blow it up. This shot right here, the girls are way down here at the other end of the bridge. They're already off the bridge. In the footage of the girls, if you blow it up, you can see a dot. A black dot, and that's right here off of this bridge. Where was he? He was back on this trail. See, this trail runs all the way back around to the kill site. He was back here hanging out, waiting for somebody, a victim, somebody, his mission. And once the girls got past the bridge, he knew it was them. And he said he's seen 3 girls on the bridge. What happened to the other girl?
For about 4 days, roughly 20 hours of deliberations, and coming in this afternoon with this verdict of guilty on all counts. Prosecutors throughout the trial have said Allen confessed to the murders many, many times. His defense team argued that Allen has mental health issues that became worse during his time in custody. They also said that there is very little physical evidence connecting Allen to the crime scene. Now, this case has shocked and haunted the small town of Delphi, Indiana, with about only 3,000 records.
7 Eyewitness News, but
Read off like the verdict. Every single juror said yes, that was there. Sounded like a video of Catherine the meeting. Oh, we got video of Catherine the meeting.
Why does that sound like Lana, infamous Lana on my channel 32, channel 7, ABC News? I didn't okay that. This is unbelievable. All right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's click over to Miss Criminalities and see what they're saying. I know there's a lot of upset people over there.
Doug Carter of the Indiana State Police and Lieutenant Jerry Holman of the Indiana State Police, as well as the prosecutor, Nicholas McClellan, Stacy Diener, James Luttrell.
I did post Miss Criminalities channel in my chat. Miss Criminality, I'm watching your channel. Someone please tell her, don't strike me, Jesus, please save me.
There were a lot of hugs going around, a lot of pats on the back. The prosecution, though, remained somber looking throughout this entire.
Hi, beautiful.
All right, here's Miss Julie.
You okay? How emotional was that, man?
Very good.
Oh, sweetie.
You guys, this goes beyond Richard Allen.
You
Because
got it
I
right,
need people
sister.
to be able to have an open mind.
You better get
This
that
goes
right.
beyond Richard Allen. Okay?
Yes, it does.
This is the climate of our nation. This is how far our nation has moved away from the center. Okay?
It removed itself from God. And we're going to bring God and morals back to America.
The people have opinions about this man. But when the state did not unequivocally, they did not prove their point. I could go down a bullet point list. This is about you and your children and about your children's children.
You got that right, sister.
You should fear. You should fear. Because look where we are now. You have a jury that it was a very intelligent jury, but this is the climate of our nation. I'm not done. I thought I fought hard before. I thought I fought hard for our country, and for this case, I'm not done. I am not done, and I am not backing down. I'm
All
not
right,
backing down
sister.
because it's for every single American, and I'm not kidding you. And I mean it when I say it. It's not cliche.
Don't cry, little lady. We'll get them all. Don't worry.
Is Michael Allsbrook around?
He was earlier after he heard that it was a guilty verdict. He had to excuse himself.
Well, little Julie, Miss Melvin, hit it right on the button. This is bigger than we've been telling you folks that. We wish you would have connected the dots. Now it's going to cost me money to round up all these idiots, but that's okay. It'll be money worth spent. It'll be taxpayers' money well spent to go and round up. I don't care if there's 50,000 of them. And we got just the guys to do the job. We knew there was more involved into this case other than Richard Allen.
Sleuthy, what are you thinking?
First of all, I agree with Julie, and I wish she would not cry, but I understand. I am kind of disgusted. I think probably mostly disgusted. I'm just wondering how long, and you're probably better to answer this than me. How long will it take to write up whatever they need to for an appeal? Like, how quickly can they get something in front of the appeals court? I do feel like there's reversible error has been made, so I'm just wondering how quickly can we get that in front of.
Let me explain something to you folks. If they want to appeal it, go right ahead. You know why? Because I got tons of evidence that I didn't even test. We're going to prove everything that they think. They want, it's an appeal. Go ahead and appeal it. It's his right. Appeal it. But now we are going to investigate the 77 hears. We're also going to investigate other things if you want. And the case will go on because it's a ring. So if they want to appeal it, go right ahead. But now the state will get ready, start testing all the hears, and start bringing in everything. I said from the beginning, 2 weeks is not enough. 2 weeks. They haven't even investigated most of the stuff. They haven't even got to the tips, folks, that were called in. Right? They want to appeal it, go ahead. But this case is not closed. And Doug Carter has said that numerous times. After Richard Allen is in prison, this case will go on till every single one of them are locked up. And there you go.
December 20th is what's being reported by everybody.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So they'll have 30 days after that to file a motion to correct error, in which they're pointing out to the trial court, Judge Bull, errors that happen during the trial that they think justify a new trial. So she'll probably deny that.
Good luck, baby. Good luck. Not when you got 60 confessions and his brain going 60 different ways and him implicating other people with the way he's talking, that he was there, but he didn't do what they said. So there was other people that implicated into it that never were investigated. You got all these people that are walking around that look like Richard Allen. You got all these people, Jesse, Johnny, Jimmy, all these people running around. We know exactly what you tried to do, you pieces of crap, in your little Warriors movie. Son of a bitches. I had part of the Warriors try to pull the Warriors on me, you sick pricks.
Because all of the things that have to be prepared for that, everything briefed, filed, if there's oral argument, etc. And so that's factoring into the 2 to 4 year process. Did we lose Julie? I hope not, because of me.
She'll probably come back, but I unfortunately, all those years, I don't think he's going to make it all those years.
Well, Miss Sleuthie is saying she don't think Richard Allen's going to make it all these years he gets. I don't think so either. I really don't. They better have him on suicide watch. We're going to have to keep him isolated, put him on suicide watch. And now my interrogators come in and my lawyers come in. And now we spend time with Richard Allen and we dissect his brain. And we get to be buddies with Richard Allen. And Richard Allen is going to tell us how this and who else was involved, who he communicated with, who he talked to, what YouTubers was he in communication with, who he knew. We are going to dissect this case. We're going to get inside Richard's brain, and he's going to explain everything. And he's going to explain who he communicates with and everything. And there ain't nothing any of you can do about it. Nothing.
As the judge was reading the instructions to Richard Allen, he's nodding his head as he understands. It was very emotional going in there. I was very emotional because, look, we've been in this fighting hard, and it's so beyond this case for me. It's so beyond this case. It's a country thing for me, And I was really surprised because I watched these jurors. I watched their reaction. There's not misreading their reaction. I mean, ask Andrea, Bob. You can see how they were.
Now listen, we need to protect Richard Allen. Do you understand? Because he was found guilty. Now, if there was other people involved in this, they're going to want him dead. You know this, Steve True Web Crime. You know that we need to protect him. Why? Because we want his brain. We want to get inside his brain. We want him to communicate with us. We want him to open up. And we're going to offer everything we can to get inside of his brain and wreck this terrorist group or whatever it is down there, down south, or in our country, and get rid of it. Everybody now is going to be dissected, even the family, because now we're getting too much heat because the family's phones were not collected. The family's DNA was not collected. The whole thing around the family. Now we have time. Richard Allen has been found guilty. Richard Allen is going to play ball. If he don't, that's his own fault. He could do the 50, 60 life in prison. If he was smart and his lawyers are listening, I think you should go ahead and let Mr. Richard Allen know that it's time for him to play ball. If not, he can rot in jail. We're going to find out who else was involved with or without Richard Allen. because the American people have rested their case. The police department is under the scalpel. The government of Indiana is under the scalpel. Everyone is under the scalpel now. I'm sorry, but that's protocol in a case as big as this.
Because they don't all sign the verdict form. Only the foreperson does. There's a check mark, and then the foreman signs on behalf, foreperson, signs on behalf of everybody. And so,
yes, Miss Shelley, a lot of people are thinking that.
The least expected that I would say, juror number 11 was the foreman, which I was like, that dude was like one of the weaker dudes. Like he's sitting there between some really strong people.
I understand that, Miss Julie Melvin, but you're trying to read jurors, and you should focus on the case, because the jurors are cold stone people. They'll just look, the jurors had to see the evidence. The jurors had to see the crime scene photos. They had to see these two young girls in the predicament that they were in. And that's stressful for jurors. So if you're trying to read a juror, it ain't going to work out too good. So I don't know. I don't know why people try and read jurors and they think, well, we thought this juror would go with us on this and that. But that's not the way it works. I mean, it might. I mean, it's 2024. It might. I don't know. He gave up on living, Johnny. Yes, Miss Shelley, New Brunswick. Mental health, he gave up a while ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't know how that person, juror number 11, was in these off the record dealings. For all we know, and why I say it's so important for somebody the caliber of the people that were reporting, like Julie and Bob and Andrea and Lee and on and on and on.
It just didn't go out the way they planned. These were all big-time law defense attorneys that everyone listened to, reporters that everyone listened to, and thinking that no one got any coverage except for these big YouTube channels that thought this is true, that he's in it. What does that tell you, folks? I don't know. I'm an idiot with brain damage and dropped out of high school in senior year to go to work, right? And if we can put the dots together, didn't any of these people know the history of Delphi or Indiana before they went into the Delphi case? I mean, you have to look at that, of what was going on in that area at that time, before and after the murders. Now, why didn't they do that? I don't know. They focus in on we're just focusing on, yeah, but you're not seeing the big picture. You're not seeing the big picture. You're focusing on one guy as 150 of them get away. You didn't focus on, I would have locked down Indiana. I know people are saying, are you crazy? No, I would have locked it down. No one in or out. I would have put National Guard on the borders. You ain't coming into Indiana. But I can't do that. We can't do that as a people, right? People got to come in, and you got to come through Indiana to get somewhere, some way, somehow. We also want to talk to Richard Allen and see on any of his devices, and let's talk to Brian Kohlberger. Let's see if any of these guys were communicating with Brian Kohlberger. Brian Kohlberger has been in Indiana numerous times and was stopped 3 times in Indiana.
It was like a 5-minute thing. She goes, being here, we've all now been waiting for an hour.
Hello, Miss Tony. It's nice seeing you today.
Made a little statement, like, they're coming. And then I saw Matt, the investigator, stand up and say something, Your Honor, like, we have them here, they're coming up the steps or something like that, because they clearly did come up the steps shortly after that. But she was like disciplining the defense for them not being here. Now, we all had, and from what I understand from the investigators, they had a 2-hour window, because that's what they were. I don't know where they got the 2-hour window, but that's what I was told they had. And so when I got notified right away, everybody, was like, oh, we're getting 2 hours, to assimilate in there. And we sat there, and you could feel the tension, like she was ready, because she says, you're here, they're not here. And we've already been waiting out.
We read at 3:00 anyway, so I'm confused on they read it before it was supposed to be read, or was 3:00 not the right time that was reported? Because according to what was being reported, it wasn't supposed to be read till 3.
It was read before 3, because the jurors were in at 2:18. The judge came in at 2:10. She said, the court's, now on record, 2:13. Okay, 2:13. Guess what time the family got there? 2:15. She was being a you know what. And she was ready to she's like, we'll just sit here. And it was just, those couple of minutes were like a lot of tension, like, oh my God, she's going to go without the family. Thank God they came up kind of huffing and puffing up the stairs, And Rosie came in, and then she said, Rosie, Miss McClendon, are you ready? Basically, yes. And yeah, I was watching them. I was watching Rosie. He's kind of going like this, but then I looked over and I saw Latrell doing that too. Doug Carter was there with his wife. His wife was in the very front with him.
Ooh, I bet you
George
Doug's
came in at
happier than
2:18.
shit. We're going to do work together,
yeah.
Dougie.
The number 11 was the foreman. Listen, I've watched them. Like, you can see their personalities. When you watch them week after week, you can see them interacting. Even despite that guy's background, he wasn't someone that I felt like would necessarily like lead the whole charge. I thought maybe a couple others were, because they were so strong in their reaction and their interaction with others. I thought juror number 12 seemed to take a little more commanding stance with the public, looking at the public, really putting his elbow out on that stand, and looking at us. And he wrote tons of notes. He was watching like a hawk everyone. He comes across, he presents himself as like a strong type of person.
I got news for you, folks. Some of the smartest, most genius men in the world smoke cannabis. Some of the greatest lawyer in our country smoked cannabis. Yeah, go figure. You can dig up Johnny Cochran and Effie Bailey right now. I don't think it would help.
And they're allowed to go talk to whoever the hell they want to. But I don't understand why there's a gag order in place still.
He's been found guilty. There's quite literally zero reason, unless he knows that there's going to be a retrial. And even then, that's really pushing it to happen.
Julie, did she say anything to the jurors? Thank you for your service. You're now released. You can talk with anybody if you want to. You don't have to talk to anybody if you don't want to. Did she thank them for their service, or did she say, I'll talk to you in the back?
No, she said, thank you, and I'm now releasing the jurors. She released them. And she was looking, she released the jurors. She said, thank you for your service. And they went, she didn't talk. If she talked about it, I didn't hear it, because I was listening, but I was just, you got Kathy Allen in the same few seats down from me. And I did hear some crying from, the families over to my left. They were all trying to hold it. Then I walked out of court, and, I hear some people clapping. I don't think this is not a time really to clap, because it's just sad all around. You know, I was told a specific person from the family glared at me. Thank God I didn't see it, you know. Yeah, I mean, and that was it. Like it was, you know, they left pretty expeditiously. The jurors were out, and then first they were they were releasing the Allen family. You know, they took Rick out first. There's police all over the place. Oh my God, there's one right now. They took Rick out first. He didn't seem, you know, I don't know what it's like when you're.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Some of these YouTubers might have played a part in this judgment. You had a bunch of YouTubers that came up and talked to the judge, that wrote the judge, that did this, did that. Can you believe them? I don't know. Could the judge believe them? Could Judge Gall believe them? I don't know. But here's the bottom line. He was found guilty. They can appeal it. That's fine with me. He might be innocent. I don't know. Right? We don't have all the evidence. We don't even have it all tested yet. So it can go, it's 50-50, folks. Right? He's been found guilty. Now, I would suggest they get him on medication and get him a straight head. And then you commence to dissecting him. Right? And you throw offers up. Richard, we're going to cut down that. We're not putting you on death row. If you play ball, we'll protect you in prison. We'll make sure you get let out once a day to go into the yard with no one in it. You'll see the sunshine. You'll have family visits. But you're going to have to play ball. If you know anything, now's the time to say something. And if you might not know anything, and you might not have been the man, or you might have been the man that did this. But if you play ball and you know about any other things going around in that town, big, or any other murders or anything, Mr. Richard Allen, now is the time to play ball, sir. Because there's just way too many murders that have been unsolved and way too much down there. So now the ball is in Mr. Richard Allen's court. He can either keep his mouth shut, appeal it, and take another swing at it. He can keep his mouth shut and say he don't want to appeal it, and that's it, it's over with. Or he can play ball. Maybe lighten his sentence, or at least get him into somewhere better. Or maybe he might be able to help people, the police behind bars, solve crimes. He has information in his head. We want him alive, and we want to know what is in his head, who's in his head, who he hung around with, who his best friends were. Did he film it? Is it a porno ring? Is it a pedo ring? Is it just, has he done it before? Do you understand, folks? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? We're trying to get him to play ball. Let's listen in more on criminality.
Earning that understand, that have their minds open, that understand the law, that understand the Constitution. There's a stark difference there, and I'm thankful for the people whose minds are open and understanding.
You're welcome, Julie.
And I told Lee and Andrea, please make it known to your audience tonight what this is what this is about, what this means to our nation.
I'm going to put your chairs back here.
Yes, thank you.
In the back.
Yeah. So
always keep an open mind in a murder case, ladies and gentlemen.
How are you
Anything
guys
is possible.
what do you guys think? What was your reaction? I was shocked, actually.
I'm still hoping that I said it the other night when we were talking about this, that maybe once we get the.
I'll tell you another thing. If they were lying about the white van and now all of a sudden the white van's there, then it's a good chance they were lying about every single vehicle that was there was vehicles there, but everyone was saying that we were all nuts. Satellite photos of that day. There is satellite photos of that day in that area, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know that? Do you know that there's phone records of all around there of people's phones pinging? You got too many people in that area that place themselves there for this just to be a random thing. All this happened. No one's seen nothing. No one heard nothing. Impossible. Impossible. The only way no one's seen anything, no one heard anything, was if the girls were never there. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But always keep an open mind in a murder case, folks.
OJ was found innocent. Casey Anthony was found innocent. We have a man here who was put in solitary confinement in a prison before his trial, given involuntary medications, and because he started saying random things, which, maybe it would have been helpful to the jury to have had the information about the odorous scars with the patches and various other things, maybe an explanation.
Well, I'm sure they had that information. Listen, I'm sorry. The courts found him guilty. Right? There's nothing I can do, nothing anyone can do but investigate. They can go ahead and do it, but folks, we're sorry. We told you, keep an open mind. We told you folks that, keep an open mind. They were so tunnel vision. Yes, we already know there's a whole bunch of people involved in it, right? All the dots connected. I'm sorry people didn't see the dots. I'm sorry they didn't connect it. I don't know. So they spent 100, 200,000 getting degrees and everything. A piece of paper ain't going to help you folks if you cannot connect the dots. I don't care if you have a degree. If you can't connect dots, your degree is worth shit.
Yeah, she did that. She solved her own murder because that's all emotional. That's emotional stuff to make them feel one particular type of way, because his actual case was total garbage. It was garbage. And so I'm having a difficult time. And I'm trying to have some news.
Oh yeah, he's facing the death penalty.
But I just I'm terrified. I am terrified and horrified and disgusted that there are people walking around free, and Richard Allen is going back to prison. I literally can't wrap my head around it.
Oh, they ain't free,
I can't
sister.
either. I cannot. I thought
they ain't free, sister. You think they're walking around free, but they ain't free. You'll probably see a mass migration out of Indiana. You're going to see a mass migration out of Indiana. People just, oh, shit. Hey, I'm sorry, folks. From day one on this channel, I told you folks, keep an open mind. Anything is possible. It could have been one man. It could have been many. And Doug Carter ain't going to rest until he's got them all. And I imagine the rest of us citizens ain't going to rest until every single one of them. They might not have been there, but they're affiliated. And that's all you have to be anymore. When there's drugs involved, clubs, organization, pedo rings, you ain't even got to be at the crime scene today, baby. All you got to do is be affiliated with them idiots. And your ass is grass. And that's pretty much what's going to be happening.
All has been going on here. For as disgusted as I am currently, if that were me coming out of there and me looking afterwards, I mean, I would be absolutely beside myself. Absolutely beside myself.
Mhm. I really don't have words. Bob was reaching back. Bob Mata was reaching back, consoling Kathy Allen. As much as I think that the families were.
Hey, I don't know why they didn't dress up Bob Mata as the Edge and get this beautiful little lady, Julie Melvin, in front of the juries. They might have won a case. They might have been able to sway him. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm sorry, America, that we're going through this. But this problem has been here before Delphi, and it'll be here after Delphi. I'm really sorry to America that we have to go through this. I'm sorry to the family that they had to go through this. I'm sorry for Richard Allen's family having to go through this. But I'm going to tell you, like a great man and an actor told you, many of you, don't do the effing crime. If you can't do the time, don't do it. I did my time. Right? I've been in the grave and come out. Right? All kinds of crap. Misidentification. They made of there's too many people that look like too many people, and innocent people get locked up, and someone that looked like you is walking free. That's true. Don't worry. We'll be looking at Jimmy Duvall. We'll be looking at Brad Holder. We'll be looking at all these people that look like Richard Allen are still under the microscope. And don't think that the YouTubers that place themselves there, they're not under, they're still under the scalpel. Very interesting. Very interesting case. And I'm an idiot. And these people are professionals. They know more than me. If they found him guilty, he's guilty. If they found Mr. Trump to be the president, he's the president. Let's get on with our lives. I don't know what to say. The only thing I can say to the American people that it took this long that is sorry. But when you're understaffed, under-manpowered, underfunded, it takes time. Eventually we'll get there. But it takes more time.
Try to go with us because I would like to know, as like from a legal mind, maybe if you had to be a hung jury or guilty verdict, which one's better if you're going to appeal?
Lana, we heard people cheering outside and screaming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were live, but we heard them.
We knew it. We knew there was a verdict, and because people were outside cheering and screaming, we just didn't know what it was. So we were trying to figure out if it was the pro.
Let me remind you, Channel 7, Chicago ABC, was one of the first people to broadcast the verdict before everyone knew. Ladies and gentlemen, the case has just begun. I know you don't want to hear it. I know this. I don't want to hear it. I'm done with it. I'm retired. I'm done with it. Oh, here comes Mata. Let's get this. I got to hear Bobby.
Defense diaries.
Oh, here's, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at one of the people that was actually a suspect. I think both of them were actually suspects at one time in the case. This is having great. If there's a movie going to be made, I'm going to make it. And we got two people that were suspects on panel right now. Gray Hughes is there.
Hoover, Richard Allen is convicted. What are your thoughts?
Well, Vinny, you could hear a pin drop quite literally as the jury was brought back in and as they sat and as the verdict slips were handed over to the bailiff.
What's Mata doing? Look into the camera, Bobby.
Incredibly still in that courtroom.
Where's his back in
Judge Gull read the verdicts. Everybody maintained decorum in there, and you could hear relief from the victims' families, and
Yes,
you could
Miss
hear
Shelley.
sorrow from
We'll be
Kathy
hearing
Allen's
from
family.
Gray. Oh, Gray.
It was,
Why you have to
you know,
go
those
ahead
kind of
and get the
moments
cage
in
right?
life are just very heavy.
Why you gotta be
all
so
around. You
mean,
feel,
Gray?
I suppose it would be relief from the families, and from the perspective of the Allens, it's a crushing blow. But you have to respect and accept the verdict of the jury. They put the work in. They were in there for just around 17 hours before they rendered their verdict, and they came out and they found him guilty on all counts.
Bob, let me ask you this. Because you've been covering the story, you're a great attorney. Do you have any lingering questions in this case?
I do. You know,
Did
and
you
I
have to
don't
let
want
it linger,
That's
Bobby?
kind of the problem with this case is just the way that the
Did you have
procedural
to let
posture
it
was handled
linger?
throughout it. I don't want to have any doubts. And there's going to be appellate issues. I mean, there are certainly going to be appellate issues, and I think that anybody that's been keeping track of this case and following it closely knows that there's going to be appellate issues. At the end of the day, I think, Vinny, you and I have talked about this. It is the weight of those confessions, which I have I'm very inclined to think that was ultimately the thing that locked it for the jury in terms of coming back with their guilty verdicts.
Miss ATS
Will
News.
those outweigh any other?
Miss ATS News says, I love that song. I might learn that song for you, Miss ATS News. Miss ATS News, how is the baby doing? How are you doing? Can you let us know in chat how you're doing? Debbie said, now pay me all your money, you morons. Just only in Johnny Kramer's chat can you see women like this. I think waiting 7 years is too long because people think things get lost. Yeah. Miss ATS News says, we're good. On the way to doctors so they can check my incision. Good. I know you need help. We're calling more family members that you can't stand. They're going to come over and help you. You remember Uncle Willie? You haven't seen him in years. He's drunk. We called him. He's coming to help you take care of everything. We love you here on this channel. We're making him. She said, yep, more coming next weekend. We are going to bring in people to make sure you don't have to do nothing, Miss ATS News. But let's get back to this case. I am really sorry to the American people. I wish that they wouldn't have kicked off the professionals. I'm really sorry. We were just under orders. Although our investigation did go on without being because everyone was kicked off of the case. And we're really sorry to the American people it took this long. And the case will go on, right? You bet your butt Doug Carter will be on it. This case ain't over. It ain't going to be over. It wasn't over when Keegan Kline was put in jail. It wasn't over when Chadwell was put in jail. It wasn't over when Richard Allen's put in jail, baby. We got ourselves one humdinger of a movie, and I'm holding all rights and everything to it. There ain't nobody doing nothing. We're shelving it. There you go, baby. Along with my other patterns, everything else. Let's get back to it.
Mode of operating. And I'm not 100% sure they have the right person.
Gray Hughes, let me ask you the same question, because I know you 1,000% agree with this verdict. Are there any lingering questions on what happened to Abby and Libby?
I mean, we don't know exactly how it went, at the crime scene, it was amazing how the defense made a big deal about in their, I don't know if you ever saw that Frank's memorandum where they tried to introduce to the public this massive conspiracy using Ognus. They had like 90-something points on how difficult it was to.
Okay, I can't do it. Sorry, I was going to try, but I can't.
I can't either.
I can't.
Yeah.
I was,
Miss Criminality can't even listen. She's I can't do this. I cannot do this. Miss Criminality can't even listen to Gray Hughes. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. She's like, I cannot.
And they get to hear it.
no, but that's what he wants to go back to. But mind you, when they wrote the
Oh my
this is
God,
frustrating
this
to me,
is
and I'm trying
great.
not to
She
get
is
frustrated
funny.
here.
She's
But
funny.
when they wrote the Franks memo over a year ago, they didn't even have all of the discovery because the prosecution was keeping it until the very end, the last minute, to turn it over. So yeah, some things aren't accurate in the Franks memo. Guess what? Some things aren't accurate in the PCA. Why did we give shit to one side and not? I don't understand that philosophy, and I cannot handle it. And I'm
She's
done
right.
listening to like fucking idiots like that. I cannot do it.
She's right.
I agree.
She's right. Miss Criminality's right.
Especially when you have somebody. Oh, see, when you have somebody who is literally telling the public, he knew details that nobody knew. He knew details that nobody knew. How is that possible? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Ray is one of the main people who knew exactly about Brad Weber's van. I proved it, and it was not a new piece of information. So even
This little lady is right. We had all this information. It was these certain YouTubers that were saying we were nuts. You all had pareidolia. It's crazy. But we knew if there was witnesses that said this happened in these vehicles and they seen these people, we knew that either someone was lying or somebody was diverting us away from what actually was going on.
Talking
Yeah.
to the family, inside information kind of thing.
I just want to see if Bob says anything else. Now I'm just
Can he-
circling.
Will he come on? Sorry, I'm as I tell, I've been crying so.
No, you're fine, honey. I know. It's
I'm
emotional.
just crying.
Oh, don't cry, little lady. That's all right. I'd be up there right now, Miss Criminality, but I'm sitting here on the couch. I'm not feeling good, and I got my boxer shorts on. Or I'd be up there, and I know you want me on your channel. like Bob Mata telling Greeno, I know you want me on your channel, but I'm sorry. I'm huge now. I'm like doing the Edge YouTube cover band on the weekend.
Going to be very high probability that it will be reversible error, and all these people who are very happy for these families will have to sit through it again.
Can you tell me, like Travis, can you answer this as far as what you've seen in the past? If a person is convicted of a crime, especially something like of this magnitude, this case has gone on for a long time. What's like the past, case history where, the wrong guy's convicted, then you got people start talking and tell the truth about who really did it. Is that something that's even, do people sort of let their guard down and start like say, hey, yeah, I really know who did it? I mean, like, has something like this ever happened where, the wrong guy gets convicted in a big case like this, and then the other people are so comfortable that they start talking a little bit?
But we didn't know who did it. We didn't know who did it. What we knew was always in a crime case, keep an open mind that anything is possible. Anything, and connect the dots and pay attention to the clues, which Doug Carter and numerous police left us clues. So from the beginning, we knew that it was possible for one man to do this job, but only if he had enough time to do it. He could do it. So we knew that maybe it's possible the time was off. We also knew that in order to do what they were saying, that there had to be someone else that knew about this or helped, because in the beginning of the case, the information that they released about the meth, about one of the family members that turned state's evidence, the bikers, the drugs, the pedo stuff. When Greeno started talking, when SH came onto the scene, and they started running their mouths, and they had no idea when the police were saying only the killers would have known. The information about the sticks was not released yet. They got the crime scene right. They got the details of what it looked like wrong. Yes, sticks were involved. Yes, there was no carvings in trees, but there was letters on trees. They tried to pull a psychiatric thing on the American people. People didn't see it. Or they sided with these big channels instead of what we were telling these people in their chats. Turn yourselves in. They didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, juries. I don't want to say juries get it wrong. What happens is it's revealed that
yes, Debbie. Yes, you are correct, little lady.
Biases and prejudices exist, and so you're looking through a lens that you accept when a victim who identifies her assailant, that's the end all be all, but that now we know eyewitness identification is horribly unreliable.
Well, yes, I agree with this gentleman. In a case like this, after time goes by and the police don't question people or ask, then yes, witnesses will get little details wrong. So I agree with the guy, right? You know, some things, what I've learned watching this crime stuff and documentaries and all this is that after time, it's harder to remember something. They'll remember little things and get it right. But some of the stuff they won't get right. There's little odds and ends that fit, that don't fit, and you got to figure it out. Hold on, I got to relieve myself. All right, let's continue here.
Don't you think that's going to help the jury with these confessions, analyze them? And I think everybody agreed strongly that they didn't have that. They had no point of reference on how to analyze them. And the only thing they're left with is Well, the judge allowed him, so
You know, there was a lot of stuff that people should have seen that weren't allowed. There was a lot of stuff that did point to possibly someone else there at the time of the murders, maybe something before the murders was occurring with the family and everything. But we were all shot down or attacked, or some kind of a demonic demon was sent to us.
Raphael. Yeah.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, $118 for car.
Boy, I'm going to tell you what, YouTube is going to be on fire tonight, Debbie. Ooh, Grizzly Crime is already on it. Fire and Ice is on it. Let's see what old Fire and Ice is saying. There's channel 32, channel 7. They're on it. Lawyer You Know is on it. Well, they're on it. Let's see what old Fire and Ice is saying.
Elaborate fucking exotic sushi with fucking flames coming off the plate. I'm like, dude, are you doing these tattoos for food? He's like, yeah. Why not?
Crazy.
Like, it's exotic shit, dude. It's like hibachi, but like on another level. I don't like sushi, so I like sushi. I can eat. I don't like the raw fish. I can do crab meat. Yeah. Or if it's like the
Well, he ain't talking about it too much. Guilty on all 4 charges. Let's see what old Deb said. Well, that was 2 minutes ago. Oh, here's old Bobby. Let's see what Bobby said. I wonder, is he live? I think he's live. It might be over. Let's see what Bob's doing. Oh, he's live. He's live. Oh, it's over with. Dang it. Missed it. And who's this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, go do your stuff.
heard of them. And
Go do your chores, cook your dinners, take care of your children, and get ready. Because you know what YouTube is going to be for the next week or 2 is nothing but Delphi. Let's see what these 2 guys are saying. Who's that? Noli and Greeno. Let's see. That's Noli.
What's up, YouTube? My name is Anthony Greeno from True Crime Investigation Unsolved. I'm here with Joey, and we just wanted to shout out Crime Sleepers. Kishing all the way Ireland, all the way in Ireland. So we just wanted to say thanks for your support, man. Thanks for making it possible for me to be here, and just all your support, everyone over there in Ireland, UK, wherever you're from over there.
Why does Noli look like he's from the 32nd Street?
You guys rock, man.
Little El Rukins. Hey, Holmes, you know, watch now. Greeno's going to get out. I solved this case. We knew it all along. I know, Greeno, but let me pull up the other 50 suspects that you had that were nowhere even there around. This is going to be hilarious. I do feel some gratitude for the family. They can sleep easy. It's not the family that's upset. It's everyone else. So the family can get some sleep. Not unless this case ain't over. That's up to the authorities, not me. Wow. Finally an end. Ladies, go take care of your families. Go feed them. Go take care of them. For now, Delphi is over with. I don't know if we put this on the back burner until after the holidays are over with. There'll be no rest for the wicked, right? Everyone is suspect, right? And the only reason I'm saying that is because there was other departments watching the case. So it might be over in Delphi. I don't think so. Carter already said this case will be done when they're all locked up, right? So we might be back. I don't know, Debbie. What do we do? Do we break away from the Delphi and give it a rest for over the holidays? We got Thanksgiving coming, Christmas. A lot of stuff coming up and everything. I don't know. It's hard to say. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It won't, wait, Shelley Nebrunza says, it will never be over for the families. Probably not. It probably won't be over for other people that were involved in this ring, or they all knew each other, right? It would have sucked. I'll tell you what sucks right now, to be a friend of Keegan Kline and being known he has all these photos and everything, and being friends of these people that were questioned. They were found not to be there, but they were questioned for some reason. And then later on, as we figured out and seen, is they were questioned because of their backgrounds down there of SA or whatever. So, yeah, I think they checked like 100-mile radius or 50-mile radius of Delphi or something for any pedos or whatever, or violent crime people. They started checking them, which that's protocol, right? Usually it's family and then any sickos that are in town that have to register or do whatever. Numerous times I think you have to be you have to get caught and then you have to register or something, they were saying, wherever you go, whatever you do or whatever. Yeah, interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end this. I think, I mean, are you ladies done now? Let's see what Miss Criminality's talking about.
Talking, chit chat in the courtroom today. There was not a single word that was uttered. The families, the attorneys, the reporters, the 30 minutes leading up to, during, and after. It was not until the judge left, but there you could hear a pin drop in that courtroom.
I felt like you could hear a pin drop the day of those closing arguments, and then the state had that rebuttal talking about, think of this, that he had told her grandma a little bit one day she wanted to grow up and help police solve crimes, and she did that this time, and she brought her friend Abby to help her. And I remember that afternoon, it was very, very silent. Usually people would leave the courtroom talking, and no one had anything to say that day either. So I thought that was a day as well. But obviously today, I can see just processing everything that just happened.
Very, very solemn. After the verdict was read, the families got to leave first if they wanted to. Immediately, Defense Attorney Jennifer O'Shea went over to the Allen family. I saw Kathy Allen's head buried in Miss O'Shea's shoulder. as she was crying, the family was crying. They were trying to comfort the Allen family. And on the other side of the aisle, on the other side of the courtroom, obviously, much different emotions. It was a moment, I think,
Miss
perhaps one of the
Debbie
first
says
moments of celebration.
he will be convicted alone for this. Well, you have to remember, they also connected Keegan Kline to the Delphi case. They also connected a couple of these people to the Delphi case. They weren't charged with murder, but they were charged with having something to do with the Delphi case, pedo stuff or whatever, or gang task force. I guess these guys had something to do that was in connect with Delphi, right? Little girls being raped and killed or used for sex trafficking, right? So it makes sense that it was something bigger. So there has been people arrested, but they weren't charged with murder of the case. They were involved in it, and the activities that were going around in there, Keegan Kline and everybody, Keegan Kline probably got charged with SA of the girls of Abby and Libby because he asked for nude photos and he was communicating with them. In Indiana, just asking an underage girl to take her clothes off, I guess, is SA. They really don't think he wants to live. Oh, they'll probably have him on suicide watch. They'll probably have him on suicide watch. They'll get him his medication. They'll get him feeling good, back in shape. And then they will start interrogating again and throwing offers in there. Richard, you found God. Why don't you help us solve some crimes in Delphi? Right? I don't know. Boy, the sun is coming through the clouds, Debbie. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Stupid camera. No, they'll keep them protected.
Area that was contacted by a juror or two about what they believed they needed to do in terms of that confusing verdict form. But so they may share that, but I think they're going to come back to, they had concerns about the timeline that were pointed out. They had doubts, but that the
Debbie says they can't throw offers. Oh, they can now that they got them. If they're pushing death penalty before he hasn't been sentenced. He's been found guilty. Now's the sentencing will come soon. And then after the sentencing, he can appeal it. So if we were right about this case, we were right about this town and what these people been doing to me. So next is LaGrange and this madness around here. That ain't my sickness. That ain't my madness. I don't want it. Good luck. We all now are believing in this stuff of Odin's. They also have exposed the Odins once again in the witchery and the sorcery. Very, very disturbing. This case has just opened up.
can adjust the timbre. So sound, whether it's human voice or from an instrument, has a lot of different attributes. And one is the tone, what key it's in. One is what's called timbre. Timbre is what allows us with human audio perception to distinguish one voice from another or one instrument from another. So you hear a piano, perfect 440, whatever that is, middle C or whatever note. I'm not a musician.
Yeah,
and another instrument plays that identical tone at that identical frequency.
I do believe
you
so.
know one's from a piano and you know one's from a guitar and one's from a...
If you're talking about Richard Allen, I do believe he is on the death penalty. If that's who you're talking about. Ooh, my TV is creaking. Here we go again, Indiana. His will to live is gone. I don't know. My God, the sun is coming through the clouds. Just a beaming. I can barely see the TV screen. Hold on a minute. All right, that's a little bit better. Yeah, he shook his head. He shook his head, yes. Supposedly, he was nodding his head when they said guilty on all counts.
I want to say, if this is the appropriate time, Teresa, about, if people feel like they want to contribute either monetarily or time, if they
well, I don't know. He is looking at 130 years. And I don't know. I think a lot of people were saying they're putting him up on death penalty. People said that the death penalty, they still do it in Indiana. But they could be lying. I don't know. They might have changed the laws. But last time I heard, he was death penalty. Debbie says no death penalty. All right, well, at least he's looking at a lot of time, 130 years. 130 years, wow. But you also did say something correct in the chat that he won't make it that long. We all know what happens to people, right? And we haven't even gone through all the cases in Indiana and anywhere he vacationed or any place that he went. We haven't even investigated that to see if there was anything there. He might be a serial rapist killer. As soon as they found the girls with them kind of wounds, it made sense to me the FBI came in. Why? Because there had to be someone else that had in a case the same MO as the Delphi girls. This case is far from over. Like I said, I think it's just begun. Most people, they hear guilty and they leave it at that. It's over. It ain't over. Because you don't know how many of these he's done. Right? They can appeal it, and if Richard Allen is not guilty, then he's not guilty. He still has a delusional mind, more sicker than us, and we're on disability. He's way past the line, right? So I don't know. I don't think it'll be over for a while. He's not fighting back at all. No. Now's the time to start talking to Richard, right? Once the verdict comes in, he's found guilty, boom, they sentence him. They get him established in a place, right, where he's going to be. And then after you get him processed and in there, then we begin to ask questions. And they could throw an offer up. They could say, why don't you help it? Why don't you help others so it don't happen, and help, explain your sickness. Who did you know? Were there other people that were bad around town that did this same kind of thing? And the case is far from over. I don't think the jury would have come back guilty if it was a death penalty case. I don't know. They still must have had enough stuff to prove he was there and was affiliated with it, or we wouldn't be here today. I only see empty shell when I see he might be a vessel for some kind of thing or something. It's him. Yeah, he's probably the one that's threatening everybody. He's saying he's going to kill all of us, or I don't know. You got him confessing that he killed his grandfather. Now you got to dig in his head and see, did he kill his own grandfather, or is Richard confessing to killing somebody and their grandchildren? Because Richard confessed that he killed grandfather and his grandkids, right? Now you got to find out whose grandfather was it and what grandkids. Now, if this was a retaliation for what maybe one of the family members did by ratting someone out or killing somebody, and it was a retaliation kill because of some club war or drugs or pedos or whatever, you got a whole nother ballgame, whole nother case. Yeah, he's probably lost right now. It hasn't sunk into him. Here's the thing, all right? You want me to help defend Richard Allen? Well, then you best find Jimmy Duvall, and you best find these other guys that look like Richard Allen. I don't care if they're not 5'4", 250 pounds, whatever. You want me to help defend them? Then you find the guys that have the same face as Richard Allen. You find these guys and you start watching them. Right? If I'm working for Richard Allen, that's what I'm thinking. We're going to appeal. All right. Well, now I want to get a hold of my investigators, and I'm going to watch Jimmy Duvall. I'm going to watch all the other people, Chadwell and everyone. Chadwell's behind bars, ain't getting out for a long time. You got the other people that are behind bars, you know, that are already locked up. You'd have to look at them. I don't care if they don't. Well, he's 6 foot and 200 pounds. I don't care. Does he look like Richard Allen? If he looks like Richard Allen, then I want someone to investigate. And the only reason I say that is because they didn't have professionals on the job and they didn't get the calculations right. It could have been a little lucky leprechaun. I don't care if he's a foot tall. If he looks like Richard Allen, you put someone on him. Hello, Aries. That's if I was working for Richard Allen. Right? They came to me and said, "You're going to defend him." Well, then I want my investigators on Jimmy. Find Jimmy Duvall. Find all these people that were suspects. I want a guy on Gray Hughes. I want a guy on, if you want me to defend him, well, I could do that. But don't question me. Well, why? Because the footage could have been manipulated. The footage is the key. I want professionals to look at the footage to see if there was any edits or anything done to that footage. Not 49 seconds. I want all of the footage and all of the recording so we can dissect it through processors, limiters, EQs, and all kinds of stuff to make that de-essers, sound canceling, where I'll only be able to hear his voice. Some of these new devices and plugins for studios cancel out anything around it. It only brings out the voice. There's so much we could do, but they just didn't ask. All they had to do was ask. I got somebody trespassing on your sins and maybe Exactly, Debbie. He's been gone a long time. Yeah, he's gone, but don't let that fool you, right? It just might be reality is coming in on him.
That have been following it in terms of everything that happened prior to the trial, but then especially ones who were present inside the trial. All of those people that are able to help, I think, are really good for them. I think it will be helpful that they were there. So, but and I just want to make sure. Did they say? Did Jody cue the huge eye roll into the back of my skull? Did she say it would be after the trial? Did the goal say it would be after the sentencing before anything would come out?
She told me after the trial. I can go back and reread the email, but it was after the trial that I could have access to whatever exhibits were going to be public, like would be okay for the public. I'd have to go back for the wording, but.
And then she's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, I just want to say thank God I'm just a couch potato YouTube crime reporter investigator and not a real one. You couldn't pay me enough money to do this every day. It'd drive you mental. I'm already mental. I don't need to be more mental. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I still believe Delphi it'll be a long, long time before Delphi's over. And let me see. Erie says Dropbox is also key. I have no idea. I have no idea about any Dropbox unless it was some kind of a Dropbox for photos or something they were using, maybe on his phone. Or I don't know anything about a Dropbox. But maybe that was some of the evidence they left behind that only Richard Allen would have known. So good point, Aries. Good point. Hey, we didn't even know about the cigarette butt in the beginning of this case. I thought that also played a key part in it. Especially when they released there was a cigarette butt found, and now we got Richard Allen on camera smoking a cigarette butt. Not only Richard Allen, numerous people smoking cigarette butts. Numerous people putting there at the scene of the crime at the time of the murder. Numerous phone pings in that area of these people that placed themselves there. I mean, this is a oh, I think these people are using some kind of evil on me. I really do. I think they transferred. They like jumped from that dude here to me. I think that goes back to Frank. Both Franks. No, frankly, I don't care. I do believe, Lord, that these people have cursed me because I just got a little bit too close to their madness. Let's see what else we got here. And not too many going live with it. There's Greeno. There's Frankenmeister. Frank, why you always gotta steal the spotlight and walk in front of my channel 7 news camera trying to steal the spotlight? Oh, here's Fox 59.
Walmart hates when you do this, but they can't do a damn thing about it.
Well, they can't do nothing about it. Who the heck is Walmart?
By Bob Donaldson, who's arrived here in town. Of course, Bob, we all remembered that day in 2017 when we first heard about this tragedy. We sent our first crews up here, and now it looks like this afternoon we've got a verdict.
Well, Russ, we do have some new information. We have reporters with CBS4 and Fox 59 have talked with the families of Abby and Libby just a short time ago. They were very, very gracious. They did not want to talk publicly today. They're obviously relieved by this verdict. But they did want to say that today was not the day for them to step forward and to talk, that they wanted to gather their thoughts. So again, we have heard some reaction from Abby and Libby's family, but they are not interested in talking publicly right now. But they were very gracious, and they were willing to basically say, we understand the interest. We know that people do want to talk and get our reaction. But they said today was not the day.
Can you imagine, and maybe you can, because we've been talking to these families for 7.5 years, the burden of not only living with this nightmare every day for 7.5 years, but having everybody from you, me, and every podcaster under the sun banging on their door, hitting their inbox, wanting to talk to them, and then having to tread a fine line between,
Sure.
I appreciate your interest, but
Oh, I guess inbox is something to do with messaging or something. They just said something. They sent a bunch of inboxes wanting to talk to them. I don't know what an inbox is. It must be an email or something. I have no idea. I have no dang idea. Nor do I really care.
oh, we got a
Not unless people, he had an email account and people were emailing him, then I would care. We should have known about that.
During testimony, during evidence, is when we heard those phone calls from Richard Allen from inside the prison to his wife Kathy, where he is confessing. And there were 7 phone calls, and in those phone calls, you can hear Kathy Allen's heart breaking.
Sure.
Because perhaps she is just as, well, not as just as big a victim, but she's a family victim in this too, because she had been part of this. And you could hear her crying. And I said to Mike, I saw him outside, I said, look, I know it must grind you to hear her crying in those phone calls, because you guys have been crying for 7 years. But there's another family on the side of this who, didn't have anything to do with this, and their hearts are breaking too.
Well, Russ, you've been here for weeks now, for almost exactly 3 weeks now since this trial.
Like I said, Delphi will never be over. We even have people up here in this little town that have the same last names as some of these people that are being investigated. And we all know family sticks together. And we're not stupid. Delphi case will go on. And the Delphi case is being worked in every little town of Indiana. And they're pissed. But we opened a can of worms. And now I imagine the government and everyone's watching. We approved that they still practice witchery and sorcery in America. We approved numerous things that we were attacked by, not only probably people supporting the family and some of these big YouTubers. We proved numerous things that we have in our country that they just could not stop doing. And when you can't stop doing something, that means you got to use other tactics. So now we do believe that these demonic things and witchery and this sacrificing and secret things, and this has all been revealed now. And I do believe it is going to get probably worse, like the government's saying, before it gets better. But now I do believe we can charge people now with witchery and sorcery and warlocks and all that. We got plenty of people that have been picked up. There was a woman that just chopped up her family, put them in an oven, and the police said that she was cursing them and putting curses on them as they arrested her. This shit's real. It's real. I would suggest whatever curses or witches or whatever curses you put on people, take them off. Whatever you did to me, whatever. Because I guess it's out there now, folks. It ain't going away. I know they want it to go away, but they opened the can of worms, this sorcery, witchery. Now people are saying they had nothing to do with it. Correct. It probably didn't as a whole, as a group. Right? It probably didn't. Maybe some scragglers that prolonged them. But now what we did know, now what they revealed, is now this stuff is real. Yes, Jesus, that's what I said. They're making it real. They revealed it. Maybe Jesus himself or God revealed it to us, but now I know that these people actually believe in it. They practice this evil stuff in America and might have gotten away with I don't know how many murders. In Jesus' name I pray. Save us all, God. Bunch of madmen. Bunch of madmen. And let this be a lesson to you, folks. Don't say you're at a murder when you're not. Just for subs or views, I don't know. Well, hopefully they can all change their lives and go about and become respectable citizens. If you can't be respectable public citizens, then stay in your house or apartment and stay out of public. Doesn't change anything what they say or do, doesn't bring the girls back to life. And that is the truth of the matter. Exactly, Shelley. Exactly. So yes, they did try here. People had been going nuts around here in this little town. So in every little town is a Delphi case or Odinist, I guess, or secret society.
Of the actual crime scene, and I'm watching Richard Allen and I'm watching everybody else in the courtroom, and he's kind of got he's got his hand over his mouth and he's looking at the screen, and I said, he's either just as shocked by what he's seen as we are, or he's remembering what he saw that day.
I would ask John Tompkins to step in one more time, because John, Russ brings up a very good point. I mean, there are many questions that remain unanswered in this case. How unusual is that in a capital murder case where you would have a situation where there would be so many questions still unanswered? And is that the type of thing that could be handled in appeal?
Well, it's certainly something that may be handled in appeal, but most likely that would be a post-conviction petition after the direct appeal. In a post-conviction petition, you can actually introduce new evidence. The direct appeal is just about the trial itself. As far as unanswered questions, there are always some unanswered questions, but
This investigation took so long because there were so many unanswered questions.
Okay, I mean, we had talked last week, John, as we were awaiting the deliberations to start. This is not the timing of it. And forgive me if you've already spoken with Russ about this angle of the story. This is not something that would be unexpected in this type of case for a verdict to come out days later in deliberations. In other words, this isn't a particularly long deliberation in your view.
I don't think so. You're absolutely right. With the amount of evidence that this jury had to go over and the amount of notes that they all took and discussions that all of that entails, this is about an average length jury verdict.
So give us an idea of what would happen next. When would you anticipate sentencing be set? And forgive me if that information has already been released.
Sure, they have announced that December 20th is the sentencing. Between now and then, we will have the defense team getting their mitigation report prepared. We'll have the prosecution team getting their witnesses, character witnesses and other witnesses on both sides will be prepared to be presented on December the 20th. That should be a lengthy sentencing hearing. After that, within 30 days, the notice of appeal, that's the direct appeal, will be filed, and this will go up to the Court of Appeals.
All right, once again, Richard Allen found guilty on all 4 counts that were facing him, 2 murder counts, 2 felony murder counts. These are counts that become felony murder when they are committed in doing another act as well, another crime as well, in this case, kidnapping.
Right, so if in the course of kidnapping someone is killed, that becomes felony murder. However, here, since the murders were of the same people that were in the felony murder counts, I would expect those to be collapsed. He'll be sentenced on 2 straight murder counts.
Okay, we'll go ahead. We'll bring in Fox 59 and CBS 4's Max Lewis as well. He was in that courtroom when those verdicts came down. We'll also bring in Russ McQuaid as well. Russ, this is something that a case that you've been following now for almost 8 years. I mean, give us your thoughts as we've come to this day.
It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of unexpected twists and turns. It has been a classic for anybody who studies law and criminal justice to watch everything that has gone on, not all of it accurate and correct. Remember, Bob, it was in January, they had to go to the Supreme Court to get these lawyers put back on this case, and it's not over yet.
Well, and the thing about this case, there are many people who will think that this is the way that the legal system is. And in many cases, this case is not a typical case in the legal system. You had the defense, you had the prosecution at odds the entire time, and also you had the judge involved in some of these disputes in a very personal way.
To the fact where she tried to fire that team a year ago and put in a couple of attorneys from her own courts. And a couple months later in January, in 3 hours, the Supreme Court came back and said, you can't do that. You can be mad at them, but at least you got to give them a fair shake. So I think that has been like a real eye-opener for people that you just can't do it. And I mean, and Bob, it goes back to the first days of this case. The day we learned of this arrest, my photographer and I were in that building roughly 1 hour after his court hearing that nobody knew about. That place was shut down. There was nobody at work that day, and I spent the rest of that day and the weekend coming up with information about this. So from the very start, it was very closely held on what was going on with this case.
Also, I'm wondering, and I know that the gag order is still in effect until sentencing is completed, but I'm wondering what is going through the minds of some of the state police investigators who were highly criticized by a number of people outside of the case for the work that was done. This has got to be vindication for them getting this conviction.
And it's interesting because I've talked to some of the higher up people at the Indiana State Police, and they said, for whatever it's worth, their point was, yeah, there's mistakes made in every investigation. I don't necessarily know that to be an accurate statement, but that was their position. Well, let's face it, this covered 7 years. There are things that are going to fall through the cracks. In that building, kitty corner behind you, Bob, that's where we first met the FBI and the state police in the early days of this. So there were some mistakes. Wait a minute, there's Doug Carter. Superintendent Carter, you want to tell us, tell me if you're proud of your people. All right. That's Superintendent Doug Carter, and he just said, when I asked him, Doug, are you proud of your people? people, he said I'm crazy about him. And of course, he's always been very emotional.
And this is something he said that he thought about this case every day before he went to bed. And you know, Doug Carter has been superintendent of state police for quite a long time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, is there anything else you ladies want to know? Yo, Doug. Yo, Dougie. Nah, we love yous. Nah, we love yous. Now you ladies can go take care of your families. I'm gonna have me a chicken salad sandwich. And now we get ready for strategies. Appeals. Not only that, we got investigations going on around here for these people. We got them. They're corrupt. We know it. They made mistakes. I think we're not being, I don't think it's the state as much as these small little towns. We're not seeing state people. We're seeing these small little town police corrupted. Mainly, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know everything. Only God knows. But there's a reason Mr. Trump won't come to Indiana. And you have to ask yourself that. He's stopped everywhere. How come he hasn't been to Indiana? He's probably afraid to. Zoo around here. Chicken salad sandwich is great. It is. It's horrible. I agree 100%.
Much for joining us. I'm Scott Swan in the Channel 13 studios. We've got breaking news coming out of Carroll County this afternoon. We have learned there is a verdict in the Delphi murders case, and we've got a crew on the scene just outside the Delphi courthouse. Anne Marie Tiernan joins me live to tell us what you know at this hour. Anne?
Scott, Bob just stepped outside of the court. Verdict was read. We're told it took less than 2 minutes. Bob, explain the scene, everything you've learned.
So, and it was, 2 minutes. Guilty, 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 and guilty. All 4 counts
2
against
minutes.
Richard Allen. Jurors came back. Obviously, it must be unanimous. The judge asked the defense team if they wanted to pull the jurors. The defense team did. So we got to hear every one of the jurors say that indeed was their verdict. Again, guilty on felony murder of Abby Williams, guilty felony murder of Libby German, guilty murder of knowingly or intentionally killing Abby, and guilty murder knowingly or intentionally killing Libby. Richard Allen sat emotionless.
He's guilty, ladies. Every single juror found him guilty. They must have the right guy. He must have known things we didn't know because it was not released onto YouTube. Richard Allen watched this case. And anyone that says he didn't even pay attention to the news or he wasn't on social media is bullcrap. That's probably why he went through so many phones. And that's probably why a lot of things. But they must have the right guy. But now we have to find out, was it a ring? Did Richard Allen, was he a pedo person? Did he have photos on the other phones that they found? Did he know Keegan Kline and these guys that they all went to one bar in town? At that time, there might be bars now, but at that time, that was the only place to go and drink and hang out and play pool. So now it starts, right? It was nice. Oh. It was nice. It was late niece birthday today. Oh, happy birthday to your niece. You're late. Oh, you mean passed away? Oh, sorry to hear that. My condolences, but also happy birthday to your niece. May God rest her soul. Oh, that's horrible, Miss Shelley. That's horrible. What was your niece's name?
That moved jurors in this situation, and it appears that they also believe the physical evidence that the state presented tying Richard Allen to the scene.
That cartridge, right?
Yeah.
That cart.
There's that train again.
The faces of the juries,
Hear
were
it?
they stoic? Were they? Did they look at anyone?
To be honest,
There's that
I was
train.
looking directly at Richard Allen, and I was trying to look at the
What
families.
time is it?
We should mention a sentencing date has been set. So December 20th is when Richard Allen will be sentenced. And during the sentencing court.
You guys hear that train horn in the background, Debbie?
Turned around. It was the first emotion that we saw. He looked at his wife, Kathy, and he said, "Are you okay?" Kathy was crying.
What time is these trains run through Delphi? I don't know if you folks can hear that or not, but we've been hearing nothing but train, 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 train. Where's that train actually run through? What part of town? How many times a day does it get its scheduled trains run on time?
Everyone kind of kept things in check while the jury was in there, while the judge was in there afterward. That's where we saw the emotion really starting to let out.
Anorexic? Do I really look anorexic? That's what they told me after 12 days on this.
All right, ladies, is there anything else? Yes, I hear it. Yeah, that train, ain't it something? Faye. Oh, such a beautiful name, too. I think I went to school with one of my friends. Well, we used to be friends. His sister was Faye. Boy, she was beautiful. She was beautiful. But my condolences to your family of your loss. Faye Lynn Dawn. Oh, what a great name. Beautiful. Well, at least she's looking down on us in heaven. Faye Lynn Dawn. Uh, Finally got this guy. Yeah, they got him. But now, well, now it's just begun. That before. Oh, look at a beautiful sun coming out. I'm going to put the camera in the window here and we're going to end this video. Looking out into the sun. I'll tell you what, that chicken sandwich, that chicken salad sandwich tastes good. I'm going to have another one. Oh, all right. Yeah, it's just beautiful out there. It's that time of year, Miss Shelley, New Brunswick. Right? We should be getting some beautiful blue skies. I'm gonna have to make some tea with some honey. I feel like I have something trespassing on me. And Debbie, my apartment was just creaking, so maybe it was something they sent here or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's a beautiful sky out there at the phone. Little chilly, little windy. I think tomorrow we're going to be in the high 40s, 41 or 42. Uh, Windy. But then I think Tuesday or Wednesday is supposed to be pretty good. It's dark there. Oh, it's already dark by your place? Well, you're up north. The sun never goes down up north. Right? It'd be midnight and it's still sunny out. But ladies and gentlemen, this has opened a new can of worms for you citizens in America and all around the world. If it's real here, it's real all over in the United States and all over the world. This whole Masonic magic, witchery, sorcery, demonic demon stuff has now been revealed all over the world. And now it's just time to clean them all up. Shelly says it's 5:47 p.m. here, Johnny. It is. The same time here, but it can't be because you're in Canada. So Canada ain't on the same time as me. You guys are 1,000 miles away. Or maybe 800 miles away. I don't know, probably not even that. Well, I guess depending where you live in Canada, if the sun don't go down or not. I don't know. We have no idea what you maples do up there in Canada. I hear it's beautiful. I hear you give checks out for children. So I'm moving to Canada and impregnating just about every single woman there. That's what you said, Miss Brunswick. They give checks to every person that has a kid each month. I'm there. Look out. Populate all of them. All of Canada. I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. I am glad this madness is over for a while until we jump back in it. I'm trying to ask if my mod thinks we should wait until after the holidays to get back into Delphi and start dissecting all the other suspects and why were they suspects? Why were they questioned? And why this, why that? I mean, you have to ask yourself this. I mean, I don't want to go too deep into this. I think I'm just going to go back to mind my own business. Done with the crime sector. I gave them enough knowledge. Johnny makes Canada women rich. If they're giving them checks out. If they're giving checks out, yeah. I'm on my way up there. Right now. Right? Give it a year and there'll be a new population in Canada. Little Johnny is running everywhere. The money will come rolling in then. I'm going to make a movie about my life. You people are going to flip out. It's going to probably be one of the funniest movies ever in the world. Get people calling me and everything, and Brad Pitt, and Johnny Depp wanting to play. A lot of people. I'm thinking maybe even Trump's going to play a role in this movie. It's going to be huge. Huge. No, Miss Shelley, I'm on my way up. I'm packing a bag. Me and Debbie are coming up. I'm going to impregnate everybody and impregnate Debbie. And we're all going to get checks. It's going to be unbelievable. Let the Prime Minister know I'm on my way. I don't care. As soon as you mention free checks for every kid that's born, me and Debbie are going to have a whole new race. Debbie, they're giving checks to kids. In Canada, we're on our way up. We're going to impregnate everybody. Debbie! She's so excited, that little vixen. She ran to get all of her stuff packed up. We're on our way, Miss Shelley, New Brunswick. Let Canada know. Let them all know we're coming. Oh, here we go with this again. Johnny packs fudge. You can't impregnate dudes. No, I can't. But Debbie is an AI alien woman. She can. Because I like vagina. No, I can't help it. There she is. Little vixen was hiding in the shadows waiting for you to come in, Johnny Pax Fudge. This is what I've been dealing with for the past 7 years. I have evidence of these people are like zodiac trolls inside my thing. They actually spelled letters and paragraphs out, right? No, I'm not joking, like a Zodiac killer. You're a bunch of idiots. Miss Shelley, we're on our way. Do you have somewhere we can stay out there? She says, I'm in Atlantic Providence. Johnny, I don't care. Is there food? And do you still get checks for kids there for impregnating women? I just want to know. That's what you said the other day. Every child gets a check every month in Canada. You don't have to pay for medical health. You don't have to pay for having the baby. You don't have to pay for if you're sick, you need an operation, new lungs, new hearts, and everything. You get it for free there. I'm on my way. And what sealed the deal was Miss Shelley New Brunswick said they're giving checks out to every woman that's impregnated on there. Impregnate all of Canada. I have 2 spare bedrooms in my house. Well, me and Debbie are going to take one. Debbie, pack up. I'm going to say this much. Miss Shelley New Brunswick. If you do hear animal noises coming from that bedroom, do not be afraid. It's just me and Debbie. Our love calls and it gets kind of wild, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Miss Shelley Brunswick said they done it for many years. Johnny, I don't know. Do you have a hot syrup up there? Maple? And eggs and bacon, Canadian bacon. I am on my way. I've had enough of America. And I'm going to tell you what, the free lungs, the hearts, and all the operations is worth it. But what most of all is every woman that is impregnated, the family gets a check each month. I'm there. I'm going to drink a bunch of Gatorade and I'm going to snort a bunch of pre-workout. And I'm going up to Canada and impregnate every single woman. Much like Gene Simmons and Kiss. Do I have to say any more? Me and Debbie are on our way. Please do not be afraid of any animal noises coming from our room. Thank you. Miss Shelley says, of course, even maple syrup camps in the springs. Oh, hot springs. This is unbelievable. I can have maple syrup, real Canadian maple syrup, not this watered down stuff that they ship to us from Canada. This is pure Canada maple syrup. And then after I'm done doing that, I impregnate all the women after eating syrup, pure. And then I take a bath in the hot springs. I love this. And then get a check at the end of it. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. And then free operations on top of it. Lord knows I could do it. I need it. They done killed me in this country. We're moving around the move. IPE, I just let mine go till we switch back time. Who cares about time, Debbie? Get your stuff packed, sweetie. We're going on up into Canada. We're going to be rich. We're going to have plenty of food. We're going to make animal noises in the woods. So much animal noises that Bigfoot will be afraid to come around. It's going to be beautiful. Free checks, money. I might be able to hang out with Rush. Yeah. Alex and them guys in Getty. Sure. Yeah, well, why not? Sure. Maybe Neil Young. Maybe I can chill with Neil Young. Maybe. Of course, I will have to impregnate their wives because I want to get that check. So, maple syrup, you got that right. And we're going to need plenty of maple syrup. Plenty. Oh, maple butter. Maple syrup butter. Make sure you have a lot of that. Did you hear that, honey? Debbie? Maple syrup butter. Yeah, make sure you're stocked up on that, Miss Shelley. We'll be up soon. We're on our way. Oh my God, maple butter and candy. Well, I'm borderline diabetic, but what the heck? I mean, it's been your healthcare is free up there, so give me all the candy you got. Ah, God, what do you do next? I don't know. You go make movies in Canada. I might be able to go visit Uncle John up there. And the rest of the crazy Canadian Second City TV guys up there and everything, hang out with them guys. I might even chill with the McKenzie brothers. Hey, you hoser, hey. I'm going to love it. It's going to be great. Of course, I must stock up on all kinds of stuff before I go there. Now, you ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. I'm ending this 2 hours. Almost 3 hours. I'm going to relax. My throat's killing me. My chest is killing me. I was attacked by some kind of a demonic demon or witch curse or something. Jesus save me, save all of us, save America. Or I'm going to have to move I'm going to have to move to Canada. You leave me no option. I'll have to leave. Somebody do something. Save us all in Jesus' name. Amen. You folks have a great night. God bless. This thing that is possessing me right now don't want me to do nothing. But I got to clean up around here. I don't know what this thing is. Get rid of it. In Jesus' name. Yes, Shelley, thank you. And happy birthday to your niece and Debbie Fox. Thanks for stopping in. And Epiphonium and all the other great, incredible ladies. Miss ATS News. Who else stopped on? Miss Tony, the great Miss Tony. So many great, incredible people. I want to thank, I did post Miss Criminality's channel in my chat. I want to thank the great Miss Criminality for her video. If Miss Criminality, if you want me to take it down, I'll take it down. No problem, no biggie. But thanks, Miss Criminality, for being there and going live with the verdict. Thanks, the Prov, or it's the proof, the Prov. I don't know. They call him the scientist. He might be the teacher. I want to thank all the other great channels out there. Oh, yes, Epiphonium, watch out for the monkeys. Watch out for the monkeys out there in South Carolina on the East Coast. They're traveling fast, moving. Right. Got more monkeys here in America than in Africa, China, and all of them put together. Who knows where all these sicknesses are coming from? I can't figure it out, though. But God bless. What a bunch of madmen in our country and mad scientists, I guess. I don't know. You folks all have a great day. God bless. Miss Shelley, New Brunswick. We'll be up there soon. We'll be up there soon. Make sure you save some maple syrup and buttered sausage. And I'm bringing Gary's Busey with us. Gary, we're going to Canada. They got Canadian bacon and syrup. Is there anything you want? Buttered sausage. Get him some buttered sausage. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.